Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, for another YouTube video, all in crypto here. And today, we're going to be talking about an altcoin that I think is going to do rather well in the immediate future. There is an event taking place for this altcoin that is extremely significant and only comes around once every 4 years. And that event is taking place in 60 days, roughly. Now, historically, the coin has done very well on the run up to this event. And we are expecting it to do the same thing today. Now, to be totally transparent and to give a disclaimer, I am already, and so are some of my community members, long this altcoin. And this is not financial advice in any way, shape, or form. We are already long, and ultimately, I do still expect further continuation. But this is not a video of me telling you guys to buy it. All I'm going to be doing is presenting the altcoin and presenting why I think it's going to do well and let you guys make your own minds up. This is also going to be quite an educational video because this event is going to take place every 4 years moving forward. So it's something for you to keep your eyes on. And we will be looking at price action and everything in between, and also giving a bit of an introduction into this altcoin. Now, the altcoin I'm talking about may come as a shock to some of you. Some of you may have already gathered or been able to guess what the altcoin is. And we've probably only covered this altcoin a handful of times on the channel. But the coin that I am indeed talking about is, drum roll please, Litecoin, which has been doing rather well in retrospect to the market over the past few days. Now, why is this? Before I go on and explain what Litecoin is, it is indeed because Litecoin, like Bitcoin, has a halvening that takes place roughly every 4 years. Litecoin was developed as a Bitcoin competitor that sought to improve some of the downfalls that Bitcoin had. And they did this by essentially shortening their block time, so on and so forth, and making it cheaper and faster to use Litecoin as a payment method than the likes of Bitcoin. And that essentially is what Litecoin is. Litecoin is a proof of work cryptocurrency. You can merge Litecoin's mining with Dogecoin, which is a bit of an interesting fact that some of you probably didn't know. But there is indeed a halvening taking place for Litecoin, depending on what site you go to, whether it's the Litecoin halvening, which has it at 61 days, 15 hours, and 17 minutes from the time of this recording, or whether it is the with this website here, which has it at 59 days, 16 hours, and 23 minutes. And essentially what will happen, like with Bitcoin, with its halvenings, is the supply of Litecoin will get cut in half. Now, what I want to do is take us over to the charts and look at the price action that's happened historically on the run-up to the halvening. The halvening is depicted here with the lines, the vertical lines down the middle. And I'm essentially expecting the same thing to take place again on this halvening. There is a word of warning here, guys, because typically it does sell off pre-halvening, but I do think there's a little bit more room for it to go up in the tank. I just want to make this absolutely crystal clear. I've already said it once, and I'm going to say it again. This is not financial advice, and this is not, by any stretch of the imagination, me telling you to go out and to put trades on in regards to Litecoin, certainly when it comes to leverage. I do believe that trading is not as easy as your crypto Twitter and crypto YouTube would have you believe, or generally the trading sort of scene. It's like everything, like the fitness industry, there's a degree of fakeness with the trading scene. And as somebody who has been trading now for a significant period of time, I can tell you firsthand trading is a very hard game to master. So without proper method and without proper risk management, you could find yourselves in a bit of a sticky situation, even though I think there is a good setup on Litecoin. Now, I do run a Patreon. We do teach some of those things, and ultimately, not only myself, but some of my members are already long this altcoin. And I do believe that you should be careful. I just really want to stress that, guys. I want to be totally transparent and say that we're already long it, but also present the evidence of why we're long it and let you guys make your own minds up. But the halvening is essentially in 60 days, and I think that it's going to do rather well. So we've kind of briefly touched on what Litecoin is. It's basically supposed to be a more efficient Bitcoin. It was one of the OGs of cryptos It was something I actually bought quite a lot of in 2017 and actually really has underperformed the majority of the market. Now, that's not to say that its time won't come, but let's just look at some of the prior halvenings, and then we can look at Litecoin against Bitcoin. And also, as somebody who watches many avenues of the market, I always look at inflows from sort of institutional vehicles. And one thing that I watch is, of course, coin shares, products when it comes to crypto that have been largely or have largely seen outflows recently. However, the one area that they saw inflows, albeit minor, was, of course, Litecoin and Uniswap recently. I would take a stab at that's at people speculating on the halvening. Litecoin has had a decent day today. Remember, I am already positioned at a lower price, guys. Transparency is key. One fundamental pillar that I've tried to build this channel upon is being truthful and honest and transparent. And you will get nothing but that from me, guys. So we're telling you, we're already long. This isn't a call for you guys to get long or for anybody to buy it. We're just presenting, some sort of information as we see it. So what I want to do is look at the prior halvenings. The first halvening for Litecoin, the Genesis block came around in 2011. We know Bitcoin came out in 2008. And then the first halvening for Litecoin was in 2015. To be precise, it was on August the 25th, 2015. So if we look at this in regards to the charts, ladies and gentlemen, you can see that, of course, Litecoin had a pretty sensational run up to it. Now, what I want to do is drop down the timeframes to the daily. I want to find this price action and really show you it in more of a zoomed up approach. Now, you've got to remember the markets, the liquidity were very, very thin back here, hence why the chart looks like it does. But you did indeed have a run up to the Litecoin halvening. Isn't it interesting looking back at this low liquid market? Somebody that watches charts, these things are exceptionally interesting to me. The fact that you did have clearly people putting money in here, which moved the chart, big buying wick here. Kraken is probably one of the longest data charts. And then you had huge sort of volume coming in here. So I've just drawn all over the chart, making it nice and messy. But you could see this was almost a sign of people accumulating. And then, of course, Litecoin did indeed. I'm not expecting it to do 600%, by the way. We have a far more modest target. And I'll look at roughly where I'd take profits running into resistance. You can see that Litecoin did have a great run to the halving. Now, the halving actually didn't take place. Let's just double check that until the 25th of here. So what you will notice is it did have a run up, but then roughly from the top to here, which is around about a 46-day period, you did have it selling off. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, we are only 60 days away. So if you're going, and this is a word of warning. I'm not doing myself any favors here by telling people this. However, I do believe that, I have a responsibility to be as transparent as possible. I do expect people to take profits before the actual halvening takes place. And what I want people to note with this trade, I'm not going to give people my take profits and my stop losses. Of course, that is on this particular trade, something that I've reserved for Patreons. But it's very interesting how you have this resistance here that you ran into before selling off. I think a similar thing is going to take place again today, ladies and gentlemen. And of course, our take profits are associated with that. Let's look at the second halvening, which we've gone completely past, which was the run-up, we'll call it, was this. Okay? And let's actually take a look at the specific date for that so we can be totally accurate with it. So this occurred on August the 5th. It always seems to be in August. Whether that's going to continue or not is still to be seen. You do have the 5th of August 2019. You had the second Litecoin halvening. So have we got that price point right on the chart? We do indeed. And what do you see? You see a sell-off into the halving, and then you see a continuation of it as people take profits. Again, you had a pretty beautiful run up for the Litecoin halving, around about 400 and something %. You then sold off and topped out here, roughly the same time period, around about 43 days before the actual halving, as you have people taking profits in the anticipation of it. Today, ladies and gentlemen, we have a halving taking place in around about 60 days. The estimated time for the halving is the 2nd of August, which is a Wednesday, if anybody was interested in that, which is here. I do believe, and actually, isn't it interesting again? Look where you ran into. We do have a lot more specific areas that we're looking at, but this block of resistance here. So bear that in mind when moving forwards. Litecoin has been an underperformer. I think I still have a couple of Litecoin that I've got in. It could be an exchange wallet that I've literally not touched in a hell of a long time. But again, here we are. Litecoin's at this resistance. Many altcoins are at this kind of resistance here right now. This is significant. You can see you've had a nice run. The market generally has been rallying this time, of 100 and something percent. You've ran into resistance. And the important thing is now you are coiling up into it and grinding up. And you have people coming in here and buying the lows. So I do expect moving into this, Litecoin, and I just want to, it's so important that I stress this, guys, about this not being financial advice, because I don't want anybody trading based off what I've said. We're not giving enough information for you to do that. We're just saying this is an altcoin of interest to us right now and something I wanted to share. I'm expecting potentially a bit more of a run to some interesting areas. Look for where resistance is likely to take place, guys. Remember, you're currently at this sort of resistance here. Look for the next areas of resistance, which we're not going to draw here in regards to take profits. This is not a trade that I think I'm going to hold for a long period of time. Ultimately, I do see it coming off, but also see it selling off pre-halvening. So remember that. We've given you a word of warning here in regards to what happens pre-halving. People usually take profits and try and get out before you get the buy the rumor, sell the news kind of effect. So Litecoin is the altcoin that we've shared with you today. In regards to its Bitcoin pairs, it's doing quite well today. You guys know we love a double bottom. And this is like a triple bottom here, isn't it? And actually on the Bitcoin pair, you've got this low here. And I think this is actually going to do quite well. You've ran into this support here. You do have support in the Bitcoin pairs. Let's look at Litecoin, Ethereum, which I've actually not looked at. I'm doing it for the first time with you guys. We're not getting a lot out of that. Maybe a divergence. No. So yeah, that's all we've got for you guys. The Litecoin halving is 60 days away. Now you guys that are new to Litecoin have a little bit of an understanding about what it is. Personally, I think what you've had here is, it's almost like a cup and handles, and you're coiling up around this resistance here, this key resistance. It's actually historical resistance, very historical resistance. And ultimately, I do think this is going to be taken. Once you flip that resistance, you're going to get a little bit of price momentum to the upside. And ultimately, we are looking to ride that. Looks decent across the pairs. We are seeing some interesting things from CoinShares. And of course, we do have that significant event coming up in around about 60 days. But remember, typically Litecoin does sell off pre-halvening, and that's something to absolutely bear in mind and be very, very careful of. Certainly, if you are trading, if you're eligible to trade, depending on what country you're in the derivatives market, and if you're using leverage, you guys will know I'm absolutely against high leverage in the cryptocurrency market. I think it's a very volatile market already. And I also think, and one of my pet hates is going on Twitter and seeing people post even 5, 10, 15, 20, 100x leverage trades. That is nothing short of gambling, in my opinion, certainly in regards to the crypto space. And actually ask those individuals that are posting those high leverage trades for a longer P&L, because what you will likely find is that they are not profitable over a period of time. Yes, they may have some big winners, but their losses will also be equal, if not more so. And trading is more so, in my opinion, a part about not losing money than it is making it, which sounds a little bit contradictory. But those of you that have tried to trade will know that, if you have £100 and you lose £50, you need to get 100% to get back to your £100. Whereas if you make £50, you've only made 50%. All I've got for you in this video, guys, if you've enjoyed the content, please let me know in the comment section. A like and a subscribe is always appreciated. And of course, make sure you stay tuned for up and coming videos. That is our video on Litecoin and where we think it's going. On that note, I'm going to love and leave you. If you've enjoyed the content, like us, appreciate it, as a comment, and I'll catch you in the next one.